Have you ever wondered why some men seem to effortlessly capture attention, leaving women wanting more, while others struggle no matter how hard they try? The truth is, attraction is not about luck, looks, or charm. It's about something far deeper. It's about psychology, presence, and the energy you bring into every interaction. What most men fail to realize is that the way you show up in life, in every decision you make, in every choice you take, directly shapes how others see you, and ultimately how they desire you. Imagine standing in a room, and without saying a single word, people feel drawn to you. They respect you. They want to know more about you. That magnetism doesn't come from flashy gestures or desperate attempts to impress. It comes from something far more powerful: your inner strength, your clarity, and your boldness. And here's the secret. These are skills anyone can develop. They are habits of the mind, the body, and the soul, all designed to make you someone others naturally chase, not someone who has to chase in return. Most men waste years trying to follow scripts they see in movies or advice that doesn't work in real life. They try to be funny, flashy, or overly accommodating. They think attraction is about pleasing or performing. But human psychology tells a different story. The mind is wired to notice confidence, purpose, and self-respect more than anything else. When a man embodies these qualities, he becomes magnetic, almost without effort. He doesn't need to compete for attention. Attention comes to him naturally. And here's something even more important. You can cultivate this magnetism without changing who you are at your core. It's not about pretending, faking, or becoming someone else. It's about refining the parts of yourself that are already there: the courage, the vision, the authenticity, and letting them shine. When you do this, women aren't just noticing you, they are drawn into your orbit, intrigued by your presence, and compelled to invest their attention. By the end of this video, you will discover 5 bold moves that can transform how women perceive you. These moves aren't gimmicks or manipulative tricks. They are grounded in human psychology and proven strategies for building deep attraction. Each one of these steps is a tool you can use to elevate yourself, not just in dating, but in every aspect of life. You'll learn how to become a man who naturally commands respect, ignites curiosity, and creates desire without saying a single desperate word. But before diving into these bold moves, there's something critical. You need to understand attraction is a reflection of your life. If your life lacks direction, passion, or purpose, no amount of techniques will make you magnetic. On the other hand, when you cultivate ambition, self-discipline, and inner strength, attraction follows effortlessly. Women don't chase men who are weak, uncertain, or needy. They chase men who radiate vitality, stability, and mastery over their own lives. Now, I want to offer you a reward for staying with this video till the very end. By the time you finish watching, you will not only understand the 5 bold moves that make women chase relentlessly, but you will also gain a practical blueprint to start applying them immediately in your life. This is not theoretical advice. It's actionable, transformative, and rooted in real psychology. Every insight you hear can be implemented today, starting a chain reaction that will make you more confident, more magnetic, and more in control of your destiny. So if you've ever felt frustrated by rejection, overlooked despite your efforts, or uncertain why some men succeed effortlessly while others struggle, this video will give you clarity and a roadmap. It will awaken a part of you that you may have ignored for too long: the bold, decisive, self-respecting man who naturally draws attention and admiration. And the best part? Once you start embracing these moves, the world begins to respond differently. People notice you, opportunities open, and most importantly, the kind of women who were once distant or indifferent will start to see you as someone worth pursuing. Right now, you have a choice. You can scroll past and stay where you are, repeating the same patterns that leave you frustrated and unnoticed. Or you can stay, absorb these insights, and commit to becoming someone who commands attention naturally, someone who ignites desire through the very way he lives. This is your chance to step into a new reality, a reality where boldness, confidence, and authenticity create a life others want to be part of. By the time we finish this video, you'll not only understand the 5 bold moves, but you'll also see yourself differently. You'll feel the spark of motivation to take control of your life and create an aura of irresistible attraction. Every word you hear from this point onward is a tool, a strategy, a mental shift that can transform how you are perceived and how deeply others are drawn to you. So stay with me, because what comes next is not just advice, it's a blueprint for transformation. By the end, you'll know exactly what steps to take to become a man who doesn't chase, but instead is chased relentlessly. Confidence is not a gift, it is a skill, a way of being, a quiet force that radiates from within. It is the invisible energy that draws attention without effort, the silent language that tells the world, I know who I am and I am enough. Most men misunderstand confidence. They think it's about looking strong, speaking loudly, or never showing fear. True confidence is far subtler, far more powerful. It comes from a place of self-awareness, self-respect, and a relentless commitment to your own growth. When a man carries confidence, it changes everything. His posture, his tone, even his silence becomes magnetic. Women notice it immediately because psychology shows that humans are instinctively drawn to individuals who demonstrate certainty and self-possession. It's not about arrogance, it's about mastery over yourself and your life. When you move through the world with certainty, others feel safe, intrigued, and inspired to be near you. Confidence begins with knowing your worth. Every man has strengths and weaknesses, but the men who attract effortlessly focus on what they bring to the table rather than dwelling on what they lack. This doesn't mean ignoring your flaws, it means embracing them while cultivating your strengths relentlessly. Every achievement, every skill, every step taken toward becoming a better version of yourself feeds confidence. The more you invest in your growth, the stronger your presence becomes, and the more naturally others are drawn to you. The psychology behind this is simple but profound. The human brain is wired to respond to competence and mastery. When a man demonstrates that he has control over his life, that he is capable, decisive and independent, it triggers a subconscious attraction. People are wired to notice strength, not superficial charm. Women are drawn to men who can navigate challenges, who handle pressure with composure, and who pursue their goals with unwavering determination. These qualities create a sense of security and excitement, which is a powerful combination. Building confidence requires action, not just thought. It's not enough to tell yourself that you are confident. You must live it every day, stand taller, speak with clarity, make decisions decisively, show up consistently, even when it feels uncomfortable. Every time you act in alignment with your values and intentions, you reinforce your self-belief. Confidence grows like a muscle, through repetition, discipline, and small victories. Equally important is the way confidence interacts with presence. Presence is more than being physically there, it is being fully engaged. In the moment, aware of your energy, and unshaken by external opinions. When you are fully present, you create a magnetic field around yourself. Women sense this immediately. They notice the man who is grounded, who is undistracted, who is immersed in his own power. Presence combined with confidence signals one thing: stability. And stability is irresistibly attractive. Another key aspect of confidence is the ability to take risks and embrace discomfort. Life rewards those who dare, men who push past fear, who step outside their comfort zones, who are willing to face rejection without losing composure, demonstrate a rare kind of strength. This boldness is deeply appealing because it signals resilience and courage, the kind of traits humans are biologically wired to respect and pursue. Confidence isn't about avoiding fear, it's about moving through it with control. It's also important to understand that confidence is not static. It grows when you align your actions with your values, when you pursue mastery in your craft, when you take responsibility for your life. Every time you face a challenge, overcome an obstacle, or assert yourself respectfully, your internal belief system strengthens. And as your internal belief strengthens, your external magnetism grows. Women are drawn not to perfection, but to men who show strength, integrity, and the ability to rise consistently. One of the most powerful truths about confidence is that it is contagious. People instinctively mirror the energy of those around them. When you embody self-assurance, others feel drawn into it. They trust your judgment. They respect your presence. They want to be part of your world. This is the invisible force that transforms interactions into fascination, curiosity, and desire. True confidence also comes with authenticity. It is not pretending to be someone you are not or putting on a mask to impress. Authentic confidence comes from knowing your values, owning your life story, and refusing to apologize for who you are. This authenticity creates a deep psychological resonance. People, especially women, are drawn to men who are grounded in themselves, who are comfortable in their own skin, and who live in alignment with their principles. Every step toward building confidence is a step toward becoming the kind of man who does not chase desperately but is naturally sought after. It is a transformation of mindset, behavior, and energy. The more confidence you cultivate, the more magnetic you become. The more you act with self-respect, purpose, and presence, the more effortlessly women are drawn to you. Confidence is not a superficial trait. It is the foundation of attraction. It is the root from which desire grows, and it is available to any man willing to commit to his growth, to take responsibility for his life, and to act boldly, consistently, and authentically. Every word you speak, every step you take, every choice you make is a reflection of your inner confidence. And when that confidence radiates naturally, it becomes irresistible. Taking charge of your life is the cornerstone of attraction. It is the difference between a man who waits for opportunities and one who creates them relentlessly. Women are instinctively drawn to men who are in control of their direction, their time, and their purpose. Psychology shows that humans are wired to notice decisive action and leadership because it signals competence, stability, and strength. A man who commands his own life naturally commands attention and respect. Most men live passively. They drift through life waiting for validation, approval, or the perfect moment. But the truth is, life rewards those who take action, those who make decisions boldly, and those who assume responsibility for their outcomes. When you take charge, you send a signal that you are unshakable, capable, and reliable. This energy is magnetic. It communicates confidence without words, authority without arrogance, and power without aggression. Taking charge begins with clarity of purpose. You cannot lead or attract if you are unsure of your own path. Define your goals, your standards, and your vision for your life. Know what you want, and more importantly, know why you want it. Purpose fuels momentum, and momentum builds confidence. When a man moves with direction, his presence becomes undeniable. Others, especially women, are drawn to the certainty and energy that comes from having a clear mission. Another crucial aspect is ownership of your actions. Men who take charge do not blame circumstances, they do not wait for luck, and they do not shift responsibility onto others. Every choice they make is deliberate, every failure is a lesson, and every success is proof of their commitment. This sense of accountability creates a psychological pattern in others. People respect men who stand fully behind themselves, who do not apologize for striving, and who do not waver in their principles. Action is the language of leadership. It is not enough to plan or dream. Decisions must translate into consistent, bold steps. Small actions compound over time, creating a momentum that is visible and irresistible. When a man takes initiative, whether in his career, personal growth, or social interactions, he radiates energy that cannot be ignored. Women are drawn to this because it signals strength, courage, and the ability to protect, provide, and inspire. The psychology of attraction emphasizes autonomy and influence. A man who controls his life is inherently influential because his actions ripple outward. He is not reactive, he is proactive. He shapes his environment instead of letting it shape him. This quality is deeply attractive because it creates a sense of security and admiration simultaneously. It communicates without a word that this is a man who can handle challenges, create stability, and deliver results. Taking charge also means embracing responsibility in relationships. Attraction is amplified when a man leads with integrity, communicates clearly, and sets the tone in interactions. Women notice when a man knows his boundaries, takes initiative, and makes decisions confidently. It signals that he is reliable, strong, and capable of maintaining balance in all areas of life. This is the kind of energy that sparks genuine desire. Boldness in life extends beyond practical decisions. It includes emotional courage. Taking charge requires facing fears, confronting discomfort, and moving forward even when outcomes are uncertain. Men who take risks, who step into challenges, and who pursue growth relentlessly project an energy of vitality and resilience. Psychology proves that people are instinctively drawn to those who show courage and composure under pressure because these traits indicate a stable and capable partner. Consistency is another critical element. Taking charge is not a one-time action, it is a lifestyle. Everyday decisions shape your trajectory. Every day, actions reinforce your authority over your life. Women are drawn to consistency because it demonstrates reliability, strength, and long-term vision. The combination of decisiveness, accountability, and persistence creates a psychological effect that is deeply magnetic. It is also essential to understand that taking charge does not mean controlling others. It is about controlling yourself, your time, your goals, and your energy. Influence flows naturally from mastery over your own life. When you embody this principle, women are drawn not because you demand attention, but because your life radiates direction, purpose, and independence. This is the subtle but powerful psychology of attraction. People chase what is full, complete, and self-sufficient. Ultimately, taking charge of your life transforms your identity. You are no longer passive, reactive, or uncertain. You become a man who creates his reality, shapes his destiny, and commands respect effortlessly. This transformation is magnetic. Women sense it instinctively. They are drawn not only to your actions, but to the energy that comes from being fully in control of your life. Every decision you make, every step you take reinforces this energy and amplifies your attractiveness. When a man fully embraces this principle, he becomes unstoppable. Life begins to respond differently. Opportunities appear. People seek his input. And the kind of women who once seemed out of reach begin to notice, drawn to the power, stability, and boldness he exudes. Taking charge is not just a bold move. It is the foundation upon which all attraction is built. It is the first step toward becoming the man who is not merely noticed, but relentlessly pursued. Predictability is the enemy of desire. When a man is predictable, safe, and always the same, the spark begins to fade. Attraction thrives on mystery, intrigue, and unexpected energy. Women are drawn to men who can surprise them, not through deception, but through unpredictability. That reflects confidence, independence, and a life full of purpose. Unpredictability is not chaos. It is controlled variation, the ability to keep life exciting while remaining grounded. Being unpredictable begins with owning your time and priorities. A man who does not bend to every whim or request, who keeps certain parts of his life sacred, naturally becomes more compelling. It signals self-respect, self-control, and independence, traits that psychology identifies as deeply attractive. People instinctively notice when someone is not entirely available because it creates a subtle challenge, a sense of tension that sparks curiosity and desire. Unpredictability also emerges from taking bold, unexpected actions. It might be a sudden adventure, an unusual choice, or a spontaneous decision that reflects passion and confidence. These moments break the monotony of routine, creating excitement. Women are drawn to this energy because it signals that life with this man is dynamic, interesting, and full of potential. The human brain responds to novelty, and a man who embodies it becomes instantly captivating. Yet unpredictability is more than actions. It is emotional presence. A man who can shift from intense focus to playful humor, who balances seriousness with lightness, creates a magnetic rhythm that others are naturally pulled toward. This emotional fluidity signals depth, intelligence, and adaptability. Women feel challenged yet safe, intrigued yet grounded because unpredictability, when combined with emotional stability, ignites fascination rather than fear. Another key aspect is holding your standards firmly but flexibly. A man who is predictable in his principles but unpredictable in his approach shows integrity and creativity simultaneously. He is not swayed by every opinion, yet he can adapt to circumstances in ways that keep life exciting. This balance between consistency in values and variation in behavior creates a magnetic tension that draws people toward him effortlessly. Psychology reveals a powerful truth. Humans are wired to respond to challenge and novelty. When someone is entirely available, entirely predictable, they lose the edge of intrigue. When a man maintains an element of surprise, without manipulation, he triggers curiosity, attention, and admiration. Unpredictability is a form of mental stimulation. It challenges the mind and engages the emotions, making interactions unforgettable. Being unpredictable also demands confidence in boundaries. It requires a man to know what he will and will not tolerate, to act decisively without seeking approval, and to honor his own needs and desires. This self-possession creates a powerful contrast with those who are reactive or overly accommodating. Women sense this energy instinctively. It communicates strength, self-respect, and emotional independence, all of which amplify attraction. Spontaneity is a key tool in cultivating unpredictability. Small, thoughtful gestures that are unexpected, or taking initiative in ways that surprise and delight, leave lasting impressions. These actions show creativity, attention to detail, and the ability to think beyond the ordinary. Women are drawn to men who bring fresh energy, who break patterns, and who remind them that life can be exciting, unpredictable, and full of possibility. Unpredictability also intersects with emotional intelligence. A man who can read moods, respond with awareness, and shift energy when appropriate becomes magnetic. He is not rigid, not bound by routine, yet he is not chaotic. He is intentional in his actions, playful when necessary, serious when required, and always alive in the moment. This blend of control and surprise creates a dynamic energy that captivates attention and inspires desire. Crucially, unpredictability must always flow from authenticity. It is not about manipulation, games, or pretending to be someone you are not. It is about living fully, taking bold actions, embracing curiosity, and showing the world a man who is alive, confident, and self-possessed. Authentic unpredictability communicates one powerful message. Life with this man is rich, exciting, and deeply engaging. When a man embraces this principle, he becomes unforgettable. His presence commands attention without effort. His energy keeps people engaged, and his unpredictability creates desire that is difficult to resist. Women notice this energy instinctively. They are drawn to the tension, the excitement, and the depth it represents. Unpredictability is not a trick. It is a reflection of a life fully lived, a mind fully engaged, and a man fully aware of his power and potential. Every deliberate choice to embrace unpredictability reinforces magnetism. It transforms interactions from ordinary to extraordinary. It turns curiosity into fascination and attention into relentless pursuit. Life becomes more exciting, more meaningful, and more rewarding, not just for him, but for everyone who experiences his presence. By cultivating controlled unpredictability, a man becomes a force of attraction. That cannot be ignored. A living embodiment of energy, confidence, and desire. True attraction goes far beyond surface-level charm or flashy gestures. The most magnetic men possess a depth that draws people in, a layer of complexity that cannot be fully understood at a glance. Cultivating mystery and depth is not about being secretive or playing games. It is about developing a rich inner world and living a life that commands curiosity and respect. Women are instinctively drawn to men who hold substance beneath their surface because depth signals wisdom, experience, and the ability to navigate life with intelligence and resilience. Mystery begins with self-containment. A man who is complete within himself does not reveal everything at once. He carries a sense of inner richness that is not dependent on validation from others. This does not mean hiding who you are, but rather being selective in what you share, allowing others to discover layers over time. When you cultivate self-containment, you become a puzzle, a story that unfolds gradually, keeping interest alive and desire strong. Depth also arises from continuous growth and learning. A man who invests in his mind, skills, and experiences becomes fascinating naturally. His conversations carry insight, his actions carry purpose, and his presence carries energy. This depth is magnetic because it communicates that life with him is not shallow or predictable. It is engaging, stimulating, and rich with potential. Curiosity, by its very nature, draws people toward those who embody it. Emotional depth is equally critical. A man who understands his own feelings, who processes them effectively, and who can express them with clarity demonstrates a level of maturity that is rare and attractive. Women notice emotional intelligence instinctively. It signals stability, empathy, and the ability to create meaningful connection. Depth is not just intellectual, it is emotional, spiritual, and psychological. It is the sum of experiences, reflections, and the conscious effort to understand life and self. Mystery thrives when a man moves with intention rather than reaction. Predictable responses and constant oversharing diminish intrigue. A man who pauses before speaking, who reflects before acting, and who reveals insights selectively creates a magnetic tension. This energy is compelling because it communicates self-control, patience, and confidence. Women are drawn to men who do not reveal everything immediately because it promises discovery, engagement, and excitement over time. Another element of cultivating depth is having passions and pursuits beyond relationships. A man who invests in meaningful goals, adventures, and creative endeavors signals that his life is full, engaging, and purposeful. This creates natural attraction because he is not chasing approval or attention. He is living fully. Women sense this energy immediately. Depth is a reflection of a life well lived, a mind fully engaged, and a heart fully invested in growth and experience. Silence and listening are powerful tools in cultivating mystery. A man who listens deeply, who asks thoughtful questions, and who responds with measured insight holds an aura of intrigue. He is not desperate to fill every moment with words. He is confident enough to allow space, presence, and contemplation. This behavior communicates emotional control, intelligence, and awareness, all qualities that trigger deep attraction. Depth also comes from resilience and the ability to handle challenges. Life is unpredictable, and a man who navigates adversity with composure, courage, and reflection carries a magnetic presence. This energy is not flashy, it is subtle, profound, and enduring. Women notice resilience because it signals security, stability, and the capacity to provide support when needed. A man who has faced struggles, learned from them, and grown stronger naturally exudes mystery and depth. Being mysterious is not about detachment or coldness. It is about selective openness and intentional revelation. Sharing the right things at the right time creates intrigue. Oversharing diminishes it. When a man reveals only pieces of his story, his intelligence, and his values, gradually he keeps interest alive. This approach leverages psychology. Humans are wired to pursue what they cannot fully grasp, to explore what remains partly unknown. Mystery triggers curiosity, admiration, and desire. Ultimately, cultivating mystery and depth transforms a man's presence. He is no longer ordinary, reactive, or surface level. He becomes captivating, magnetic, and unforgettable. Every interaction carries layers, every conversation stimulates curiosity, and every moment spent in his presence creates anticipation. Women are drawn not only to what they see, but to what they sense, feel, and imagine. A man who is a living embodiment of substance, wisdom, and intentionality. This combination of mystery and depth does something powerful. It transforms attention into pursuit. Attraction becomes organic, natural, and relentless. When a man invests in his inner world, develops his mind, strengthens his emotional intelligence, and navigates life with courage and purpose, he becomes the kind of man women do not just notice. They seek, admire, and chase, drawn by the depth and mystery that radiates effortlessly from his being. Confidence is not something that is given. It is something that is earned, built, and lived every day. True, magnetic confidence does not come from showing off, winning approval, or being loud. It comes from knowing who you are, accepting your flaws, and taking decisive action despite fear. Women are drawn to men who radiate this inner certainty because it signals strength, stability, and a life lived on purpose. Confidence is the invisible force that transforms ordinary interactions into magnetic encounters. Unshakable confidence begins with acceptance of self. A man who knows his strengths and weaknesses, who embraces both the light and shadow of his character, carries an energy that is impossible to ignore. This self-awareness is deeply attractive because it communicates maturity and security. When a man does not seek validation from others, his presence alone inspires admiration. Confidence rooted in self-acceptance creates a magnetic aura that draws people in effortlessly. Action is the fuel of confidence. A man who takes bold steps, makes decisions without hesitation, and follows through on his commitments demonstrates a level of certainty that is irresistible. Women notice decisiveness because it signals reliability, courage, and leadership. Hesitation breeds doubt, but action breeds admiration. Every step taken with intention reinforces self-belief in every challenge. Faced with courage strengthens the magnetic pull of a confident man. Body language and presence are extensions of confidence. Standing tall, speaking clearly, and moving with purpose communicates a powerful message: I am here, I am capable, and I am in control. Women respond instinctively to these nonverbal cues because they reflect dominance, security, and competence. Confidence is not just a feeling. It is a state of being that permeates every gesture, glance, and interaction. Emotional confidence is equally vital. A man who can manage his emotions, remain composed under pressure, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively projects stability and reliability. Emotional intelligence strengthens confidence because it allows a man to navigate life with clarity and poise. Women sense this energy immediately. It communicates safety, maturity, and the ability to handle life's unpredictability. Fear is the greatest barrier to confidence, and the most magnetic men are those who face fear without surrendering to it. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action in spite of it. Every risk taken, every discomfort endured, and every challenge confronted becomes a building block for unshakable confidence. This courage is contagious. It inspires admiration, respect, and attraction. Another essential element is authenticity. Confidence that is fake or forced is transparent and repelling. True confidence flows naturally from a man who knows his values, lives by them, and does not bend to please others. Authenticity creates trust, intrigue, and magnetic energy. Women are drawn to men who are unapologetically themselves because they carry clarity, certainty, and the assurance that their presence is not contingent on approval. Confidence is amplified by competence and mastery. A man who develops skills, achieves goals, and cultivates expertise in meaningful areas demonstrates value and capability. Competence signals that life with him will be exciting, secure, and fulfilling. Women are drawn not to arrogance, but to men who have invested in themselves, who show mastery of their craft, and who exude a quiet certainty that comes from being prepared and capable. Physical presence also reinforces confidence. Taking care of the body, maintaining health, and presenting oneself with care signals discipline and self-respect. Confidence is not about perfection. It is about demonstrating that you value yourself enough to invest in your well-being. This energy is magnetic because it reflects self-worth and intentionality, qualities that women find deeply attractive. Finally, unshakable confidence creates a sense of inevitability. A man who moves through life with certainty, purpose, and courage inspires admiration that transforms into pursuit. Women sense the energy of a man who is grounded, self-reliant, and unstoppable. Confidence is magnetic because it communicates not only who a man is, but also who he will become, and women instinctively want to be a part of that journey. True confidence is a lifestyle, a mindset, and a habit. It is cultivated in small daily victories, in standing up for yourself, and in consistently living according to your values. Confidence is the silent, invisible force that transforms ordinary men into magnetic, unforgettable presences. When a man embodies unshakable confidence, he no longer chases. It is life that begins to align itself with him, and attraction becomes a natural, inevitable outcome of the energy he radiates. Desire is born not from comfort, but from tension. Attraction ignites when a woman senses that a man is not easily available, that he carries standards, and that he challenges her in ways that spark curiosity and admiration. Creating irresistible challenge is not about playing games or manipulation. It is about cultivating a life, energy, and presence that naturally inspires pursuit. Women are drawn to men who are compelling, unpredictable, and unapologetically themselves, because challenge triggers the brain's desire to pursue, explore, and conquer. Challenge begins with boundaries. A man who knows what he will accept and what he will not communicates respect for himself, and this automatically commands respect from others. Boundaries are magnetic because they signal self-worth, clarity, and decisiveness. When a man does not bend to every request or approval-seeking behavior, he becomes inherently intriguing. Women sense a man's limits intuitively, and the energy created by those limits produces fascination and desire. Another key element of challenge is non-neediness. A man who is emotionally independent, who does not rely on attention or validation to feel secure, naturally attracts pursuit. Women are drawn to men who live fully in their own lives, pursue their goals with focus, and remain grounded regardless of external reactions. Neediness diminishes attraction because it signals insecurity. Independence creates tension because it signals strength. Desire grows when a man moves through life with purpose and composure, creating a subtle push and pull that is irresistible. Challenge is amplified through playful unpredictability. A man who is consistent in values but unpredictable in his actions and energy becomes fascinating. Predictability is safe but boring. Unpredictability excites curiosity and triggers a deeper engagement. Small, intentional variations in behavior, tone, and attention create a magnetic tension that keeps women engaged and invested. This is not manipulation. It is intentional living that refuses to be ordinary. Confidence and challenge are inseparable. A man who holds standards, lives with purpose, and moves decisively naturally creates tension without force. Women sense this energy instantly. The challenge is not about being difficult, it is about being worth pursuing. A man who is fully committed to his growth, values, and experiences cannot be taken for granted. This creates a psychological pull that makes women want to rise to the standard he represents. Another powerful aspect of challenge is slight emotional restraint. A man who reveals feelings selectively, who does not overshare or overreact, holds a captivating presence. Emotional tension triggers curiosity, admiration, and desire. It signals depth and self-control, both of which are magnetic qualities. Women instinctively respond to energy that is measured, confident, and selective because it promises reward for engagement and patience. Challenge also comes from creating high-value experiences. A man who leads adventures, initiates meaningful activities, and offers unique perspectives creates excitement and anticipation. Attraction grows when interactions are stimulating, memorable, and rich with energy. Women are drawn not only to presence, but to the quality of the experiences shared with that presence. A man who lives boldly, seeks adventure, and cultivates excitement creates tension naturally, sparking pursuit without force. Respect for a man's time and priorities amplifies his magnetism. A man who invests in himself, who values his goals and commitments, naturally inspires pursuit. Challenge is created when a man does not make himself overly available, but instead communicates that his time, energy, and focus are precious. Women are drawn to men who are intentional because it signals self-respect, discipline, and purpose. Desire grows when the pursuit feels meaningful, rewarding, and exclusive. Subtle resistance is another layer of challenge. A man who allows a woman to earn his attention rather than giving it freely triggers a natural drive to pursue. This is not manipulation. It is psychology in motion. Humans are wired to desire what is scarce, valuable, or earned. By living with standards, independence, and selective openness, a man creates the perfect environment for relentless attraction to emerge. Ultimately, irresistible challenge is a reflection of a man's strength, purpose, and authenticity. It is a combination of boundaries, independence, unpredictability, and emotional control. It is the energy of a life fully lived, a presence that commands respect, and a standard that inspires admiration. Women do not chase men who are easy, reactive, or ordinary. They chase men who embody tension, energy, and magnetic authority. Men who create a psychological and emotional landscape that cannot be ignored. When a man integrates challenge into his presence, he transforms interactions from ordinary connections into intense, magnetic experiences. Attraction becomes organic because it is rooted in respect, desire, and the human drive to pursue what is meaningful and rare. This energy is irresistible, natural, and enduring. A man who embraces challenge is not only admired, he is pursued relentlessly, not because he demands it, but because his energy, presence, and life force make pursuit unavoidable. Have you ever wondered why some men seem to effortlessly draw attention, admiration, and pursuit, while others struggle endlessly? It is not luck, nor chance, nor superficial charm. The difference lies in the deliberate cultivation of bold energy, magnetic presence, and intentional action. Every decision, every boundary, every confident step contributes to an invisible force that pulls others toward them. The journey to becoming that man is not about imitation. It is about mastery of self, courage, and unwavering commitment to a life worth chasing. Integrating all the bold moves begins with understanding one simple truth. Attraction is psychological, not transactional. Women are drawn to men who embody energy, value, and authenticity because those qualities signal strength, security, and the promise of an extraordinary life. Every bold move, every step that challenges, excites, or inspires is rooted in this psychology. When a man lives intentionally, he no longer has to chase. Instead, pursuit becomes natural, almost inevitable. The first move, embracing independence and purpose, sets the foundation. A man who lives for his own goals, who cultivates ambition, discipline, and personal growth becomes irresistible because he is not waiting for permission or validation. Purpose is magnetic. It signals direction, confidence, and strength. Women are instinctively drawn to a man whose life has meaning beyond fleeting attention. Purpose creates energy, and energy becomes attraction. Next comes confidence, the unshakable belief in self. Confidence is not arrogance. It is the quiet certainty that comes from self-knowledge, competence, and courage. Every decision made without hesitation, every challenge faced despite fear strengthens this energy. Confidence transforms presence. It turns ordinary conversations into compelling interactions. It transforms ordinary men into unforgettable presences. Confidence is the silent language of magnetic men, and it communicates strength, security, and desirability without a single word. Challenge, the art of creating tension and intrigue, builds on confidence. Women are not drawn to availability. They are drawn to energy, standards, and the subtle push and pull that makes pursuit exciting. Boundaries, emotional restraint, unpredictability, and high-value experiences create a magnetic tension that compels pursuit. Challenge is not manipulation. It is a reflection of a man's life, standards, and energy. When lived authentically, it transforms interactions into irresistible experiences that women instinctively want to engage with. Bold action amplifies both confidence and challenge. Life favors men who move decisively, who act without hesitation, and who take risks aligned with their values. Action signals courage, decisiveness, and leadership, the qualities that women find irresistible. A man who takes charge of his life, who does not wait for circumstances or permission, naturally inspires pursuit. Bold action is the engine that drives energy, intrigue, and desire. The final layer is authenticity. No strategy, no confidence, no challenge matters if it is disconnected from who a man truly is. Authenticity is the anchor that keeps energy magnetic and relationships meaningful. Women are drawn to men who are unapologetically themselves because authenticity signals integrity, clarity, and depth. To be magnetic, a man must align every bold move with his values, energy, and purpose. Attraction thrives when a man is real, intentional, and committed to living fully. The integration of all 5 moves, purpose, confidence, challenge, bold, action, and authenticity, creates a synergy that cannot be ignored. Each element reinforces the others. Confidence enhances challenge, purpose fuels action. Authenticity ensures all moves are grounded and compelling. Together, they form a magnetic presence that attracts pursuit naturally, effortlessly, and relentlessly. The result is not manipulation or strategy. It is the power of a fully realized, bold, and alive man. This transformation is internal first. It begins with mindset, self-discipline, and clarity of values. External attraction flows naturally from internal mastery. Every interaction, every glance, every word carries the energy of someone who has invested in themselves, who lives boldly, and who refuses to settle for ordinary. The energy is undeniable. It inspires admiration, pursuit, and desire without effort. Ultimately, the men who are relentlessly pursued are not those who seek attention. They are those who command it through energy, presence, and intentional living. They understand psychology at a fundamental level. Humans respond to value, challenge, and authenticity. Women are drawn to the energy that radiates from a man who embodies these qualities because it promises a life of excitement, stability, and meaning. Every bold move is a step toward becoming that man. Every choice to grow, to challenge, to act, and to live authentically compounds over time. The pursuit of women is no longer about chasing. It becomes a natural reflection of the man you are becoming. The energy you carry, the confidence you radiate, and the life you build create attraction that is not forced, but magnetic, irresistible, and inevitable. Now, imagine yourself living this fully, every day aligned with purpose, every interaction infused with confidence, every moment charged with challenge, and every action rooted in authenticity. This is not fantasy. This is psychology, motivation, and life mastery combined. It is the art of being a man who is pursued relentlessly, not because he demands it, but because his presence, energy, and life make pursuit unavoidable. This is the path to becoming magnetic. This is the life worth chasing. Have you ever noticed how some men simply command the room without saying a word? How some presences linger in memory long after the encounter ends? This is not luck. This is magnetic presence, the invisible energy that draws people in and inspires pursuit. It is the culmination of confidence, purpose, challenge, bold action, and authenticity. But it is also much more than just the sum of those parts. Magnetic presence is cultivated, honed, and lived every single day. It is the quiet mastery of energy, attention, and intention that transforms ordinary interactions into unforgettable connections. At its core, magnetic presence is about energy alignment. Every thought, word, and action sends signals that others instinctively read and respond to. A man who carries energy that is calm, focused, and powerful naturally inspires admiration and attraction. Women are drawn not to noise or volume, but to intensity of presence. a quiet force that communicates depth, strength, and certainty. The deeper the alignment of thoughts, emotions, and actions, the stronger the magnetic field a man radiates. Intentional communication amplifies this presence. Words alone rarely inspire pursuit, but the combination of tone, timing, and delivery creates resonance. A man who speaks with clarity, calm confidence, and purpose becomes unforgettable. Because he communicates more than information, he communicates energy. Every sentence carries weight, every pause signals thoughtfulness, every glance conveys intent. This is why presence cannot be faked. It is an authentic reflection of inner mastery. Beyond communication, magnetic presence thrives in action and initiative. A man who moves through life decisively, who takes responsibility for outcomes, and who creates experiences rather than waiting for them, exudes energy that others are drawn to. Initiative signals leadership, courage, and competence, the qualities that instinctively generate attraction. Women sense a man's ability to take charge of his life, and they are compelled to engage with someone who is actively shaping his world. Presence becomes a living, breathing magnet when action aligns with purpose. Another dimension of presence is emotional control. A man who remains composed under pressure, who does not react impulsively to circumstances, communicates strength and stability. Emotional restraint is magnetic because it signals security and self-mastery. Women are drawn to men who can navigate intensity without losing their center, because such men represent safety, power, and confidence simultaneously. Tension and challenge become exciting rather than threatening, creating an irresistible psychological pull. Confidence and authenticity deepen presence further. A man who knows his values, understands his strengths, and lives according to his principles radiates certainty. Authenticity transforms confidence into attraction because it signals integrity. Women instinctively recognize the difference between someone performing a role and someone living genuinely. Magnetic presence grows when actions, words, and energy reflect a true, uncompromising sense of self. Subtle mystery enhances this effect. A man who is fully present yet selectively revealing inspires curiosity. Women are naturally drawn to the unknown, to layers of personality that invite exploration. This is not about manipulation. It is about living a life so rich and multifaceted that others naturally want to engage, explore, and understand it. Mystery fuels pursuit because it creates attention that demands attention and rewards engagement. Physical presence also plays a role. Posture, gestures, and movement communicate energy before a single word is spoken. A man who stands tall, moves with intention, and carries himself with awareness radiates confidence and power. This physical alignment reinforces inner mastery and amplifies attraction. Presence is not only psychological, it is embodied, existing in posture, energy, and movement. Magnetic presence thrives when a man creates value in every interaction, whether through conversation, shared experiences, or leadership in social settings. Presence is strengthened by the ability to inspire, challenge, and elevate those around him. Attraction is not given. It is earned through energy, value, and engagement. When women feel enriched, inspired, and stimulated by a man's presence, pursuit becomes natural and relentless. Finally, presence is sustained by continual self-mastery. Confidence fades without growth. Challenge diminishes without boundaries. Action loses impact without purpose. A man committed to constant evolution cultivates presence that endures. Women are drawn not just to what he is today, but to the trajectory of who he is becoming. Sensing the depth, ambition, and energy that promise a future worth pursuing. Magnetic presence is the final layer that transforms all previous bold moves into an unstoppable force of attraction. It is energy made visible, action made felt, and authenticity made undeniable. A man who masters presence does not need to chase. The energy he carries, the life he leads, and the consistency of his character naturally inspire relentless pursuit. Presence is the silent authority that commands attention, admiration, and desire without force. An invisible magnet that draws others toward a man who lives boldly, intentionally, and authentically. Have you ever imagined living a life where every step you take, every word you speak, and every choice you make radiates power, confidence, and magnetic energy? A life where people are drawn to you, inspired by your presence, and compelled to engage with your energy? This is not a dream reserved for a few. It is the reality that emerges when bold moves are mastered. Presence is cultivated and life is lived with relentless intention. True transformation begins within, and the results ripple outward in ways that cannot be ignored. The ultimate integration of purpose, confidence, challenge, bold action, authenticity, and magnetic presence is not a checklist, it is a way of living. Each element reinforces the others, creating a momentum that grows exponentially. Purpose fuels action. Confidence amplifies challenge. Authenticity ensures every move is real. Presence makes energy visible. When aligned, these qualities transform a man into someone who is not merely admired, but pursued and revered. The first pillar of this transformation is unwavering self-awareness. A man who understands his values, strengths, and weaknesses navigates life with clarity. Self-awareness allows him to act decisively, communicate intentionally, and engage with energy that is authentic and magnetic. Without awareness, bold moves become empty gestures. With awareness, every action becomes a powerful expression of who he truly is. This depth of self-knowledge is irresistible because it signals security, mastery, and direction. Next comes relentless commitment to growth. Attraction is not static. It responds to energy, evolution, and momentum. A man who is constantly improving, learning, and expanding his capabilities radiates vitality. Women are drawn to growth because it signals strength, resilience, and a life in motion. When a man invests in himself physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially, his energy becomes richer, more layered, and impossible to ignore. Growth transforms him from ordinary to magnetic, from available to pursued. Integration also requires intentional mastery of action and boundaries. Bold action is effective only when aligned with purpose, and challenge is compelling only when delivered with integrity. Boundaries are not walls, they are signals of value. They communicate what a man will accept, what he will not tolerate, and where his energy is focused. Women are drawn to men who move decisively, act intentionally, and honor themselves through clear limits. This combination of action and boundaries creates a psychological pull that is magnetic and persistent. Emotional resilience is another cornerstone of transformation. Life will always present obstacles, challenges, and moments of uncertainty. A man who remains composed, grounded, and deliberate in these moments radiates power and stability. Emotional mastery communicates confidence that transcends words. It signals that he is not easily shaken, that his energy is stable, and that his presence is safe yet compelling. Women sense this resilience and are instinctively drawn to it because it promises security, leadership, and strength. Integration culminates in authentic energy projection. All bold moves, confidence, challenge, and action are amplified when energy is intentionally projected. This is the invisible signal that attracts, inspires, and motivates others to engage. Magnetic energy is not learned. It is cultivated by living aligned with purpose, values, and growth. Every conversation, glance, and gesture becomes a reflection of inner mastery. Presence becomes visible, attraction becomes natural, and pursuit becomes inevitable. The life of a man who masters these principles is not defined by chasing others. It is defined by being relentlessly magnetic, pursued, and respected. Pursuit is not a goal. It is a byproduct of the energy he carries, the standards he sets, and the life he creates. Women are drawn to him because he represents opportunity, challenge, value, and excitement. His life is compelling not because of superficial charm, but because it is rich, layered, and fully alive. Transformation also touches every aspect of existence. Relationships deepen, connections strengthen, and influence grows. A man who embodies these qualities inspires not only romantic pursuit, but admiration in all areas of life. His energy becomes a force that elevates interactions, motivates action, and leaves a lasting imprint on everyone he encounters. Attraction and respect become intertwined because they both stem from the same source. A man who lives boldly, intentionally, and authentically. Ultimately, the integration of all these elements is a journey toward full self-mastery and unstoppable presence. It is about becoming someone whose energy, confidence, and life trajectory compel pursuit without force. Every decision, every action, and every choice contributes to a magnetic field that draws admiration, respect, and desire. Living this way is not a strategy. It is a declaration that life will not be ordinary, that energy will not be wasted, and that every interaction will be meaningful. Imagine stepping into a world where pursuit is natural, respect is earned effortlessly, and life unfolds with energy that is both intentional and magnetic. This is the result of mastering bold moves, cultivating presence, and integrating purpose, confidence, challenge, action, and authenticity. It is a life where attraction is a natural byproduct of living fully and where influence and admiration follow the energy you embody. This is not fantasy. It is psychology, motivation, and life mastery combined into a powerful, magnetic, unstoppable existence.